What happens when old wounds resurface, when the past collides with the present in ways no one expected? Imagine the cameras rolling, the lights dimmed, and an entire family caught off guard by two moments that could shake the very foundation of their world. Kris Jenner in tears over Khloé Kardashian's emotional reunion with Lamar Odom, and Kim Kardashian confronting a podcaster whose words threatened to unravel her composure. This is not just another headline. This is raw emotion, power, vulnerability, and family ties tested in ways no one thought possible. The story begins quietly, in a home where whispers turn into gasps. Kris Jenner, the matriarch, the woman who built an empire out of her family's name, found herself blindsided. For years, the shadow of Khloé and Lamar's relationship lingered in the background, once celebrated, then shattered by scandal, pain, and public scrutiny. But when Lamar Odom walked back into Khloé's life, even for just a moment, the air in the room changed. There was no denying the flood of emotion. Kris Jenner, known for her strength and calculated composure. Not tears of weakness, but tears that spoke of a mother's helplessness. Of witnessing her daughter relive a love story that had once consumed her. Khloé Kardashian, poised and elegant, stood face to face with Lamar, a man she once promised forever. The cameras captured every glance, every hesitation, every flicker of nostalgia in her eyes. Lamar, once lost to addiction and tragedy, stood differently now, stronger, clearer, seeking something more than redemption-seeking connection. And in that moment, Kris Jenner's tears were not just about the past. They were about the possibility of what could come next, and the risks that reunion might carry. The Kardashian family, so used to public spectacle, suddenly found themselves navigating emotions that could not be scripted. Kris Jenner in tears was more than a headline. It was the visual embodiment of a mother realizing that no matter how much power she wielded, no matter how many contracts she signed or cameras she controlled, she could not protect her daughter's heart from itself. But while Kris battled her emotions over Khloé and Lamar's reunion, another storm brewed within the family, this time involving Kim Kardashian. Kim, the icon, the mogul, the woman who built her brand on resilience and reinvention, faced a confrontation that no amount of preparation could soften. A podcaster, outspoken and sharp-tongued, had pushed boundaries too far. The comments made on air about Kim's personal life, her choices, and her role in the family narrative echoed across social media, igniting debates and fueling gossip. For most celebrities, words from a podcaster might roll off the back. But Kim Kardashian does not live in the shadows of speculations. She lives in the light, where every rumor becomes a headline and every critique becomes a trending topic. When the opportunity came to confront this podcaster face-to-face, Kim seized it. The cameras captured not a glamorous photo shoot, not a fashion launch, but a raw, unfiltered clash between a woman who had built an empire and a voice. Determined to challenge her, the documentary-style lens pulls us closer. Kim walks into the room, her steps deliberate, her gaze unwavering. The podcaster sits opposite her, a mix of confidence and unease etched on their face. Silence fills the space before the first words are exchanged. But the weight of what is unsaid hangs heavier than anything spoken. Kim begins not with fury, but with control. Her tone measured, her words sharp. She confronts the narrative spun against her. This was not just about criticism. It was about respect, about truth, about reclaiming her voice in a world that so often tries to define her. The confrontation builds in intensity. Kim's composure, so often mistaken for detachment, gives way to passion. She is not just a celebrity defending her brand. She is a woman, a sister, a daughter, standing against the forces that reduce her humanity to gossip fodder. The podcaster pushes back, but every word Kim delivers lands with precision, like a lawyer building a case, not in court, but in the court of public opinion. By the end, there is no mistaking who held the power in that room. Back in the Jenner Kardashian home, Kris's tears linger in the air. The reunion of Khloé and Lamar casts a shadow, reminding everyone of the love stories that never truly die, of the pain that lingers even after the cameras stop. Khloé, torn between nostalgia and self-preservation, faces questions only she can answer. Can love be reborn from ashes? Or does opening that door mean repeating the same heartbreak again? The documentary captures these parallel moments. A mother breaking down over her daughter's reunion with an ex-husband whose history is as complicated as his redemption arc, and a sister confronting the outside world's attempts to reduce her to a caricature. Together, they paint a picture of a family whose empire may be glittering, but whose struggles are as human as anyone's. The phrase Kris Jenner, in tears, becomes a metaphor for vulnerability in the face of unstoppable love. The words Khloé and Lamar reunion symbolize hope tangled with risk, a reminder that the heart rarely follows logic. And Kim Confronts podcaster represents strength, resilience, and the fight for one's narrative in a world obsessed with tearing it apart. The cameras pan across the family in different rooms. Kendall, quiet, observing, her silence more telling than words. Kylie, protective of her sister Khloé, reminding her to tread carefully. Kourtney, ever pragmatic, reminding everyone of lessons already learned. And at the center, Kris Jenner, the woman who sees both the potential and the danger in every unfolding scene. Her tears dry, but her resolve hardens. She knows the cameras will broadcast every moment, but she also knows the emotions behind them are all too real. The night of Khloé and Lamar's reunion becomes etched in family history. The hug they shared, the words exchanged in whispers too quiet for microphones, the glances caught on camera but left unexplained detail leaves the audience asking, what comes next? And just as the reunion fuels speculation, Kim's confrontation with the podcaster adds fire to the storm. Clips of her words spread online. Hashtags trend, debates ignite. Was she defending herself, or fueling the very narrative she sought to dismantle? The documentary script doesn't seek to answer those questions. It seeks to immerse the viewer in the emotional labyrinth of a family constantly living under the microscope. It shows us that beneath the glitz of fashion shows, the sparkle of red carpets, and the empire of brands, lies a family that bleeds, loves, fights, and forgives, just like any other. As the story unfolds, the audience sees Kris Jenner in her most vulnerable state, Khloé Kardashian caught between past and present, Lamar Odom seeking closure or perhaps a new beginning, and Kim Kardashian standing tall against a voice that tried to diminish her. It is not just entertainment, it is a mirror reflecting the fragility and strength of human connection. In the end, the narrator's voice lowers, more intimate, more haunting. This is not about headlines. This is about love and loss, about confrontation and resilience. This is about Kris Jenner in tears, Khloé and Lamar's reunion, and Kim Kardashian's confrontation with a pup. This is the story of a family whose greatest battles are not against the world, but within themselves. And with that, the documentary leaves us where it began, with questions that linger long after the screen fades to black.